Have you ever sat in front of your phone, waiting for her reply, and it never came? She used to be warm, engaged, smiling at your messages. Now, she's distant, cold, like you don't even exist. You're asking yourself, what did I do wrong? Why is she acting like I don't matter anymore? Let me say this bluntly. She's pretending not to care on purpose. It's not a mistake. It's not a phase. It's not confusion. It's a calculated move, and it's working because you're confused, reactive, and questioning yourself. But here's the truth most men never hear. The moment she pretends not to care is your opportunity to reclaim your power, not just in the relationship, in your entire life. Before we dive into the deepest transformation you've ever had, drop a comment right now. I take control. Say it, claim it, own it. By the end of it, your life will never be the same. Number 1, don't chase her. When a woman starts pulling back, when her messages turn dry, her presence fades, her voice loses the warmth it once had, the instinct in most men is immediate panic. It's like watching something precious slip through your fingers, and believing the only way to hold on is to grab tighter. But let's destroy that instinct now, because the tighter you grip, the faster she disappears. Chasing a woman who's pretending not to care is like yelling at someone who's already decided to ignore you. You think the volume will change their mind, but all it does is confirm their decision. You're teaching her that her silence gets attention. You're telling her without saying it, your absence is more powerful than my presence. And that's the most dangerous message a man can ever send. If she starts pulling back, and you immediately send more texts, plan more dates, ask if she's okay, you've already lost frame, and more importantly, you've lost self-respect. Real value doesn't beg. Real men don't chase someone who steps away. They pause, assess, and recalibrate, because a woman who pretends not to care is setting the stage for you to dance. She wants to see how far you'll go to prove yourself. The problem is, most men don't even know they're dancing. They think it's love. They think it's loyalty. They think persistence will win her heart. But in truth, they're just another player in her ego theater, fueling her self-importance while draining their own sense of worth. And let's be clear, any woman who requires you to grovel, prove, or chase isn't looking for love. She's looking for control. She's seeking confirmation that she still holds emotional leverage over you. So what should you do? You stop. You stop replying immediately. You stop asking for clarity. You stop planning to win her back. You start living. You start focusing. You start building. And when she notices your absence, and she will, you don't come running. The second she sends a soft, hey, you observe, you evaluate, you make her earn access to your energy again. Because what you allow, you encourage. And if you keep rewarding emotional games with increased attention, you're training her that disrespect is the path to intimacy. Flip the script. When she pulls back, you go forward. Not toward her, but toward yourself. You book that trip. You start that business. You build the body that reflects the mind you're sculpting. And slowly, the woman who thought you'd spiral becomes the one watching in silence as you rise without her validation. Because here's what changes everything. When you stop chasing, you force her to face herself. You break the illusion that she can play with your presence like a toy. And that, my brother, is the beginning of real power. Not because she came back, but because you finally walked away from the version of you that needed her to feel complete. Number 2. Treat silence like an answer. When a woman you care about starts pulling back, when the good morning texts stop, when the jokes fall flat, when she suddenly needs space, it hits a nerve you didn't know was exposed. It brings out the boy inside the man, that boy who needed to be chosen, who needed attention to feel enough. And that's why silence feels like punishment. It stings. It's loud. It's cruel. But what if I told you that her silence isn't a question to solve? It's an answer to accept. Most men, when they feel her pulling back, are filled with panic, fear, and insecurity. They want to fix things, smooth things over, and bring back the warmth. But in doing so, they play right into her hands. The truth is, silence isn't something to solve. It is the answer you need. Her distance is an opportunity for you to grow, to become the man who isn't ruled by another person's behavior. Silence is your cue to stop, evaluate, and choose your next move with purpose. When you accept her silence, you stop needing her presence to validate your worth. You begin to realize that your worth was never tied to her approval. And when you realize that, my friend, the power shift happens. Now, go forward. Scramble for meaning. Maybe she's stressed, they say. Maybe she's testing me. Maybe I did something wrong. And that's the trap. Because every time you interpret her absence as a puzzle, you assign value to it. You give it power. You hand over your inner peace to someone who's proven by her actions that you're not a priority in her current life. Understand this. Women communicate deeply through behavior, not words. If she wanted you in her world, not because she said it, but because you'd feel it. Her energy would show it. Her effort would prove it. So when you see her effort drop, believe it. That isn't confusion, that's confirmation. And your job is not to demand clarity. Your job is to act on reality. Men destroy their dignity when they beg for emotional crumbs. Are you mad at me? Did I do something wrong? Can we talk? These aren't signs of strength. They're signs of disconnection from your own value. You don't need her to explain. Her absence, her lack of effort already said everything. But here's what's more powerful. Your response to it. Do you double down on someone who's checked out? Or do you detach with your pride intact and your focus redirected? Because when you treat her silence like clarity, you stop playing her game, you stop hoping, you stop holding on to dead energy, and you reclaim something she never expected you to grab yourself. Control that silence. It's not your fault, but it is your test. And you pass it by moving on without applause, without closure, without confrontation. And if she circles back with, I've just been busy, or I needed to figure things out, don't reward the disrespect. You don't need explanations. You need consistency. And if she couldn't give it when it mattered, she doesn't deserve the privilege of access when you've moved on. Begin today by training your mind to see withdrawal not as rejection, but as redirection. Not to panic, but to pivot. Because the silence that once shattered you can become the space where you rebuild the version of yourself no woman will ever question again. Not because she won't try, but because you no longer need her approval to validate your place in the world. When she disconnects, don't chase noise. Choose peace. That silence you're dealing with, the unanswered texts, the cold shoulder, the emotional games, it's all a reflection of a deeper pattern you must break. Not for her, but for yourself. The Stoic Relationship Blueprint ebook in the description is your step-by-step guide to doing exactly that. It teaches you how to stop interpreting mixed signals and start responding with clarity, confidence, and unshakable calm. If you've ever felt powerless when she pulled away, this book will show you how to reclaim control in your relationships and in your life, starting today. Number 3. Do nothing. She expects you to react. There's a reason you feel the itch to respond when she goes cold. It's because you've been conditioned to believe that emotional withdrawal must be fixed. That silence equals a problem. That distance means danger. But what if I told you that her emotional distancing is not a problem? It's a strategy, whether intentional or instinctive. It's a test not of your love, but of your emotional control. She expects you to fall apart. She expects you to wonder, to worry, to check your phone at midnight like a slave to her last message. She expects you to notice the delayed replies, the forgotten plans, the change in tone. And you will notice, but that doesn't mean you must respond. Because the moment you do, the second you chase, double text, or question, you validate the behavior. You teach her that you're reactive, that your peace is negotiable, that her inconsistency is a trigger. And once you show her that, you lose the upper hand forever. That's why your silence is more powerful than 1,000 words. Not because it's a game, but because it breaks the loop. Imagine this. She starts pulling back, and instead of reacting, you vanish into progress. You don't explain, you don't beg. You simply disconnect. You dive into work. You sharpen your mind. You get stronger, sharper, calmer. Days pass. She checks your story. You're glowing. You're busy. You're unreachable. She texts, hey, and you don't even open it. Why? Because she expected drama, and you gave her indifference. She anticipated a chase, and you gave her stillness. And that stillness, that's what scares her most, because it signals emotional discipline. It says, I don't chase comfort, I create it within myself. She may not admit it, but women are deeply attracted to the man who doesn't need them, not the man who says it, the man who proves it by disappearing when disrespected. You want to master relationships, learn this. You train people how to treat you by what you tolerate and what you ignore. If she disappears and you do nothing, you become unpredictable, and unpredictability in a man is intoxicating. She can't read you, she can't measure your value based on reaction, and that mystery rewires the entire dynamic. Now, she's the one spiraling, she's the one wondering. And you're calm. Why? Because you broke free from the urge to fix. You chose discipline over drama, and that, my brother, is real emotional power. Apply this today. If she pulls away, mirror her distance, not her energy. Don't match her coldness with bitterness. Match it with absence. Let your absence speak the words. Your pride doesn't need to say anything. Let your growth be the only response. You don't exist to decode her emotional weather. You exist to dominate your own world. Her distance isn't an invitation for you to chase. It's a signal for you to realign. Stop being available to the unavailable. Stop investing in someone who plays with your presence. Your attention is expensive. Spend it only where it's valued. And when the world notices that you no longer chase what walks away, they'll stop walking away. Number 4. Level up so hard she regrets it. There's only one kind of revenge that leaves no scars, no guilt, and no doubt. And that is success. When a woman pulls away, pretends not to care, treats you like an option, your greatest retaliation is not rage, silence, or another woman. It's reinvention. It's becoming so high value, so complete, so fulfilled that her withdrawal becomes her biggest mistake. You don't cry, you don't confront, you don't post quotes or indirect tweets. You rebuild. You wake up at 5 o'clock a.m. when she's still sleeping through her comfort zone. You lift heavier weights every week until your body mirrors the strength of your mind. You read for hours business, psychology, philosophy until your thoughts echo wisdom and not insecurity. You show up to life like it owes you nothing, and suddenly, it gives you everything. Every ounce of attention you gave her, you give to yourself. You become the man you wish you were when she first pulled away. And something strange happens. She starts watching quietly from a distance through likes, story views, random texts. Not because she misses the old you, but because the new you makes her regret the games. Because the man you become is so far above her games that she no longer knows how to reach you. That's when you win. But this level isn't given, it's earned. It requires sacrifice, discipline. It requires saying no to temporary pleasure for long-term dominance. It means deleting distractions. It means writing your goals down, breaking them into pieces, attacking each task with fire. It means taking control of your schedule, your thoughts, your diet, your money. It means setting boundaries so high that even your past self couldn't climb them. And every time you think of her, use it. Let it fuel one more set in the gym, one more cold call, one more hour of reading. Let the pain become progress. And as you level up, truly level up, the people who doubted you will come back. But you won't be there, not because you're spiteful, but because you've evolved. And evolution doesn't make announcements. It makes silence look expensive. When you rise, the people who played with your worth will have to watch your value skyrocket with front row seats and no ticket back. That's the kind of level up I'm talking about. The one that doesn't just change your phone wallpaper, it changes your reality. The kind that doesn't just make her regret, it makes you grateful that she ever walked away. Because if she hadn't, you might have never discovered what you were capable of. Number 5. Replace her energy without apology. The hardest thing for most men to do isn't walking away. It's replacing the energy they lost without guilt, without that lingering feeling of loyalty to someone who was never loyal to them. When a woman pulls back, acts like she doesn't care, makes you feel like a burden instead of a blessing, you don't sit around and wait for the disrespect to become love. You act, you shift, you pivot immediately, with precision and power. You replace what she withdrew, not to provoke her, not to seek revenge, but because your energy deserves circulation, not stagnation. Energy must move or it decays. So the energy you once gave her, the attention, the affection, the time, the mental bandwidth, you reallocate it to what elevates you. It's not about another woman right away. It's about remembering your life existed before she walked in, and it will thrive long after she walks out. You replace her energy by returning to everything you dropped for her: the friends you neglected, the workouts you skipped, the side hustle you put on pause. You stop making excuses for why she stopped trying, and start making decisions that lead to results. Because the longer you hesitate, the longer she controls the emotional rhythm of your life. Imagine this: she pulls away on a Tuesday, you feel the sting. Wednesday, you hit the gym harder. Thursday, you dive deep into that new business course. Friday, you go out, fresh haircut, sharp mind, intentional presence. Saturday, she notices you haven't messaged. Her ego takes the first hit. Sunday, you're too busy designing your future to care about the one who ghosted your past. And that pattern, that rapid redirect, is what separates men who heal fast from men who stay stuck. Replacing her energy isn't betrayal, it's survival. It's what real men do when they refuse to be emotional beggars. You don't sit at the door waiting for her to come back. You build a new door, and by the time she knocks, you're in a different house. You want to feel better? Stop replaying her actions in your head. Start replacing her presence in your life. Make new playlists, read new books, meet new people, travel to new places. Journal your goals, not your pain. And when you do meet other women, don't filter them through the lens of the last one. Let them be new. Let them meet the new you. Because the version of you who accepted breadcrumbs doesn't exist anymore. You buried him under discipline, under purpose, under the weight of your own transformation. Every time you miss her, remind yourself she showed you she can leave. Now, you show her and yourself that you can live without her. Replace her energy with purpose, with peace, with people who pour into you. Not because she's bad, not because you're bitter, but because you finally realize that your energy is currency, and you will never again spend it where it's not respected. Number 6. Remind her she's replaceable without saying it. The most powerful message you can ever send a woman is silence backed by success. It's not a quote. It's not a paragraph. It's not even a clapback. It's transformation. It's becoming so elevated, so grounded, so undeniable, that her only option is to watch your glow up from the sidelines. Not because you blocked her, because you cursed her out, but because you rose without permission. That's how you remind her she's replaceable. Not with threats, not with tantrums, but with a life she no longer qualifies for. When you stop responding, when you stop trying to prove your worth, when you cut off access to your time and energy, you disrupt the whole game. She was counting on your validation. She was feeding off your uncertainty. She pulled back to see if you'd chase. And when you didn't, when you vanished instead of begged, the script flipped. Because women aren't used to indifference. They're used to simps. They're used to men waiting in line, hoping for a second chance, hoping for a reply. But when you go ghost with purpose, when your story becomes a highlight reel of progress, not pain, she feels it in her ego, in her bones. And she may never say it, but she'll think it every time she scrolls. Damn, I lost him. That's how you win. Not with noise, but with evolution. That woman who once acted like you were disposable now sees that she's the one who got replaced. Not by another woman, but by a better version of you. And that's what haunts her. Because now she's watching a man who doesn't need her, a man who doesn't chase, a man who walks away clean with no closure needed. That's not cold. That's clarity. That's power. And that's rare. So how do you live this? You elevate in silence. You upgrade without a warning. You stop sharing your moves with people who faded when you needed clarity. You show up sharper, better dressed, more focused, less available. You master your schedule. You cut out distractions. You live like she no longer exists. Not out of hate, but out of healed priorities. You stop trying to show her what she missed. You simply become someone she can't access anymore. You don't have to tell her she's replaceable. She'll see it in your confidence, in your peace, in your progress, in your new circle, in your new standards. And when she tries to circle back, you don't even flinch, because you're not living to teach her a lesson. You're living to honor your value. You're living to protect your peace. And when she finally realizes what she lost, you'll be too far ahead to even hear the apology. That's the win. That's the standard. That's how kings move. Quiet, sharp, unavailable to the woman who treated them like an option, and unforgettable every version of her that comes after. Number 7. Focus on your goals. When she pulls back, when her energy shifts, when she starts acting like you don't matter anymore, most men spiral. But the man who changes his life forever is the one who stops looking outward and finally turns inward to ask the question that matters most. What have I been avoiding while I've been chasing her? That's the question that wakes a man up at 2 o'clock a.m. Not because of heartbreak, but because of self-disgust. Because deep down, he knows, he made her the mission, he gave her the priority that belonged to his purpose. And now that she's gone cold, now that she's acting like you're just another name in her phone, you're left with the pieces of a life you built around her. But here's the truth. No one told you growing up. When you build your life around a woman, you hand her the blueprint to destroy it. The only way to take that power back isn't by texting her or posting quotes or trying to win a game she stopped playing. It's by redirecting every ounce of energy, attention, hunger, and time you gave to her into a mission that cannot be taken away from you. That's how you rise. That's how you build a reality that women orbit, not escape. Your goals aren't optional. They're oxygen. They are the reason you were put on this earth. And every time you ignore them for a woman's mood, you suffocate. So what do you do now? You get painfully honest with yourself. Write it down. Not in your head. Not on your phone. With pen, on paper. What do I want in the next 12 months? What kind of body? What kind of income? What kind of circle? What skills? What habits? Then break those down into small, violent steps. Wake up 1 hour earlier. Read 10 pages every day. Hit the gym even when it hurts. Study every night. Your life depends on it because it does. Your emotional survival depends on your mission. Your masculine edge is carved in the silence where others seek comfort. Your confidence isn't built by begging her to care. It's built by honoring your goals, no matter who pulls away. You think success is for later. Wrong. Every minute you delay your purpose, you decay your future. While she's entertaining attention from men who don't care about her soul, you could be building the legacy she'll regret walking away from. While she's acting like she forgot you, you could be becoming the man who makes her remember your silence forever. But you won't do that if you keep checking her profile. You won't do that if you keep chasing conversations that go nowhere. The man who transforms doesn't wait to feel ready. He acts, he decides, he writes down his goals, breaks them down, and holds himself accountable. And that word accountability, that's what separates boys from men. When she acts like she doesn't care, most men crumble. But you build, you pivot, you level up in ways that she didn't believe you could. You don't prove her wrong, you prove yourself right. Because this was never about her. She was just the mirror, showing you where you were still weak. And now, you've seen it. Now, you know. So get up, turn off your phone, block the distractions, write the plan, execute relentlessly. And every time her memory tries to creep back into your head, ask yourself, does this thought move me closer to my vision or distract me from it? And if it distracts, let it go. Choose your vision. Choose your values. Choose your voice. The one that says, I was born to build, not beg. Because when you live like that, she'll feel it. And even if she never comes back, you'll never want her to. Not because she's evil, but because the man you became in her absence is too powerful, too driven, too focused to ever make someone else the mission again. That's how you win. That's how you become untouchable. Not with revenge, not with games, with goals and a ruthless commitment to achieving them. You've just been given the truths most men will never hear, the truths their fathers never taught them, the schools never revealed, and society never wants you to know. And now, the question is simple. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to keep checking her profile, hoping she cares, shrinking yourself into the silence she left behind? Or are you going to stand up, reclaim your time, refocus your energy, and finally live like your future depends on it? Because it does. No woman, no text, no rejection will ever define you again. You've seen behind the curtain. You felt the power that comes from letting go of what no longer serves you and grabbing hold of your own potential with both hands. Now, it's time to take the next step. Drop a comment right now with the phrase, "My power is mine." Type it with your chest. Affirm it with your soul. Let that be the signal to yourself and every man watching that this is where the cycle ends and your legacy begins. Like this video, it made you feel something real. Subscribe right now. If you're done with mediocrity and silence, and you're ready to join a brotherhood of men who are building themselves from the inside out, because when you support this channel, you help other men find the truth that can save them years of heartbreak, years of regret, years of chasing the wrong women and ignoring the right mission. And if you want to take this further, if you're serious about building a life when no one has the power to destroy your peace, go get the Stoic Relationship Blueprint ebook for men. It's in the description. It's the ultimate guide for reclaiming control, commanding respect, and becoming the grounded, unshakable man that women can't manipulate and the world can't ignore. If you're ready to live with discipline, clarity, and power, that ebook is your next move. And trust me, 1 year from now, you'll either be a man who acted on this moment, or one who regrets that he didn't make it count.